Welcome in, everybody. Hey, it's KGB from the C Sports Network, home to your streaming outlaws. That's right, we are here for Braves opening day baseball. That's right, everybody, opening day baseball for the Atlanta Braves. So, yeah, I'd like to say thank you for everybody that's tuning in. We're going to make a go at this here. Let's go ahead and get a few things up here while we wait for the game to get underway. First pitch is supposed to be at 2:05 p.m. Central, 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time. When they come out, we'll see Zack Wheeler pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies. At bat, we'll have Ronald Acuna Jr. On deck will be Ozzie Albies. And batting in the hole will be Austin Riley. We'll go ahead and we'll take another look at the rest of the Braves batting order. After that, we'll have Matt Olson batting fourth, Marcell Ozuna batting fifth, Michael Harris second, sixth. Sean Murphy will be bringing up batting seventh, Orlando Arcia batting eighth, and Jared Kelenic will be rounding it out batting ninth. And of course, our starting pitcher for today will be Spencer Strider. Remember, get your votes in if you haven't already. This is the beginning for our season, so the Golden Brooms are now readily available to earn. So we need to get that chat vote going. All right, there we go. Let's get it set up a little bit so it's easier for me to see. Welcome in, welcome. All right, I will bring you the on-field audio just as soon as they get into the game itself. They have just went to a commercial break, so as promised, I have the new interactive set up for you guys. So we are going to give it a try. Of course, we have to wait until it's available for us. Now it was working for the Milwaukee New York Mets game earlier. They're still playing, but I did a little testing as soon as they went live to make sure it was going to work. And it is back. In fact, everybody, it is back. Full screen, 3D interactive of the game real time. Like I said, we are just waiting for the first pitch. Unfortunately, we had to reschedule from yesterday to today. Philadelphia evidently got some adverse rain or. All right. They are down on the field. They're just giving the introduction. As soon as that's done, we'll get into it. The Atlanta Braves footing the the road uniform, the gray road uniform with red tomahawk and red Atlanta lettering across the chest. And the Phillies are footing the home white with red pinstripe uniforms.
Fielder down to the 9th spot. Jared
Here we go.
Kelner.
Ronald Acuna Jr.
We're
leading
ready
off.
to go. We are ready to
and
go. The Braves' quest for a 7th straight division title and a 3rd World Series ring begins now. First pitch, Acuna up the middle. What a way to start. The reigning MVP wastes no time, and he's at first base.
There we go.
And you know Zack Wheeler. People have seen him for a while. Usually it was Aaron Nola getting the last 6 starts on opening day for the Phillies, but today Wheeler gets the ball.
Signs an extension in the offseason.
We got pitcher cam that we can have. We got batter's cam.
Especially what he's done here against the Braves over his last 6 starts. 4-0 for Zack Wheeler.
Field vision cam, no.
Coming out swinging.
We'll show you what they all mean.
Albies on the second pitch. Skies it out to Rojas. So 1 away. CJ, what do you have for today's Ford Key?
Taking a look, as I mentioned here with Zack Wheeler, the Braves have not
we're going to go strike zone
in the regular season. So how about hanging
we are a little ahead of the interactive.
Good way to start, and on the other side for Spencer Strider. Of course, he is with a lot. He, of course, set the record last year with the swing and miss. He was the best in baseball.
We're going to mute that, or we're going to pause it here for a second.
And he has added a curveball, a pitch that the Phillies struggled against mightily last year.
Baby got back. Lost.
So we will be just a little behind.
Digs in one of a litany of all-stars for the Atlanta Braves a season ago. So the first 3 offerings from Wheeler have all been swings by these Braves hitters.
There we go.
Acuna over there at
got it right
base.
on.
You have the best stolen base threat in all of Major League Baseball.
Now the sound
73
should
of them
be
last
flawlessly
year, setting the Atlanta Braves single-season record.
Be sure to let me know what you think of it in the comments.
Wheeler, the 33-year-old, in his 10th Major League season. This one is coming back towards us. It lands 2 rows below our booth here at Citizens Bank Park. And the count remains 0-2 to Austin Riley. Thought you were going to get an early season test there.
I'd prefer not to get any tests, early, middle, or late, please.
Got to protect the laptops. It's only opening day. Ronald goes.
Got his first.
He's got his
first one of the 2024 season.
No time.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a stolen base.
And he gets his first stolen base of the year.
Some talk about whether or not we'd see the aggressive nature of Ronald Acuna Jr. again. Could he really get to that same plateau of better than 70 stolen bases? Well, if you're thinking he might have taken a step back this year, so far that's not looking like it's going to be the case.
When each of the Braves were introduced before the game, there was a chorus of boos, understandably so. The same would have been the case for the Phillies in Atlanta, but there was an extra set of boos for Ronald Acuna, and he put his hands in the air, waving his fingers, saying, all right, bring it on.
He will welcome that, absolutely. He's up for the moment, as we talk about again here for the Braves' first game right out of the gate. Big-time intensity, and Ronald is here for it.
High and tight on the 1-2 from Wheeler at 95 miles an hour.
How about this for Zack Wheeler in his 32 starts, nearly 200 innings as we take a look at this one up and into Austin Riley. Just 3 stolen bases allowed. And the idea that Ronald will be able to swipe one here in the first inning, certainly impressive.
Check out a little pitcher cam.
2-2 misses inside. Home plate umpire is Mark Wegner.
So it's going to be 3-2 the count. 1 out.
The balls and strikes this
we got runner on second. So the Atlanta Braves are in scoring position.
Grounder left side, diving stop by
Diving stop, going to be over to first base for out number 2.
And instead of a potential RBI single, there are 2 outs.
It certainly looked like that was going to be the case off the bat, but a really nice play by Alec Boehm, who over these last couple seasons certainly has become a lot better. There was a lot of talk about his defense and the struggles over the years, but this is a great play here in the first inning to potentially save a run.
Yeah, it was just a couple of years ago where he went on a streak of making errors in 7 consecutive games, and the place here was just booing him, but now he's become a fan favorite 3 short years later. Matt Olson digs in. 30th birthday today for Matt Olson, coming off an unbelievable 2023 where he led the majors in homers and runs batted in. And he fouls it out of play, 1
Foul ball.
So the thing that we will keep an eye on here today with Zack Wheeler, he has added a new pitch, and it's a split finger. And the reason he added it is because he had some issues with lefties. Each year it was getting progressively worse for him, and so we'll see if Matt Olson and the other lefties in this lineup will get a good look at that new split finger from Zack Wheeler.
Oh, this is a little high here, 2-1. That was the 4-seam fastball.
2-1.
And Wheeler getting his first opening day start.
Hey, welcome into the channel. I appreciate you stopping by. Hey, if you haven't done so already, please hit that thumbs up.
He will get the ball tomorrow.
Right.
Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. Olson during spring training didn't seem to have very hot of a bat, so we'll have to see if we can get out of the slump with that. Coming off of last year's 50 plus home runs.
Diving, stopped by Harper. So a couple
that's
of
going to retire it.
By the Phillies infielders, and we head
Braves are going to leave one stranded, and we're going to head to the bottom of the first. I told you guys interactive was pretty sweet, so yeah, definitely. Oh, I see my cam crashed. Here, let's get that fixed. There we go. Hello, everybody. It's me, the KGB. Welcome in. Welcome in.
Now we head to the bottom of the first inning, as Philadelphia Phillies will trot out a familiar lineup presented by your local Toyota dealers. Once again this year, they're going with Kyle Schwarber at the top, Trey Turner and Bryce Harper behind him here in the bottom of the first. And on the mound, number 99.
Coming off an incredible 20-win season for Spencer Strider, but even maybe more impressive. Look at the numbers for him against the Philadelphia Phillies. He is going to try to go 8-0 in 8 starts against them this afternoon.
First opening day start for Spencer Strider. Of course, the last few it was Max Fried. Fried will be opposite Aaron Nola tomorrow. Strider's first pitch is grounded sharply to Arcia. He recovers off the bobble and throws across to Olson, 1 away. Well, all of these hitters on both sides so far, CJ, coming out very aggressive.
And it makes some sense. It's not necessarily Kyle Schwarber's game where he is very aggressive on the first pitch at 24% for him. And you think about kind of league average is 31%. But again, you have a strikeout pitcher who knows how to finish off hitters. You see something really that you like, more often than not, you're going to go after.
Come on, Spencer.
And now Trey Turner. So for Strider, as you said, led the majors in wins, led the majors in strikeouts, set a Braves record in that strikeout category, and now back for an encore.
We foul ball, 1-1
what,
count.
As if he wasn't tough enough, now he's added a curveball to his arsenal this season.
And we saw it in spring training, and it looked really good. It's in the low 80s. We saw it anywhere from 80 to 83 miles per hour, so a little bit of a slower offering and something to put in the back of the head of these hitters.
Turner fouls that one back. That was the slider. So the slider, the curve, then you'll occasionally see that change up in there as well from number 99.
Hey, welcome into the stream. I appreciate you stopping by.
He tried to be coy about it. I don't know, maybe it lasted all of one day into spring training.
You're just joining us. We're in the bottom of the first. Atlanta and Philly are tied.
Quickly that it was a little bit of a different pitch as a curveball.
We got Atlanta's Turner up to bat. The count's going to be...
that was a slider. Missing low and away.
Looks like it's going to be 2-2.
Also to keep an eye on is what the algorithm
One out.
calls it, right? They sit there and they look at all the metrics, and to me that probably fell into curveball category at 82. So we'll see whether or not they actually dub it a curveball.
Boy, that looked pretty good right there.
Yeah, it certainly did, and something that Sean Murphy is excellent at is his ability to frame pitches at the bottom of the zone. Now, the difference here was they were trying to go up and in, and so it was mislocation, so he had to dart back to come get it and couldn't quite hold it.
Comes a pitch.
Payoff pitch is skied. Ronald Acuna battling the elements, and he's got it.
Acuna with the catch. That's going to be out number 2.
Strider trying to keep his right hand warm in between pitches, and there is a bit of a breeze blowing from the left field foul pole to the right field foul pole.
And I would tell you the breeze probably becomes more of an issue when you start talking about pitch grips. Yes, the cold matters, but when it is cold and windy, that's just kind of that extra thing that makes it a little bit more difficult. So blowing on your hand, trying to keep your hand warm, create a little bit of moisture to make sure that you can get a good grip on the baseball.
And now Bryce Harper.
Swing and a miss. 0-1 the count.
Number 99 throws it at 99 to start the count 0-1. And again, exact same thing. 99, 0-2.
So this becomes fun right now because the first one was in the zone. That one was above the zone with Bryce Harper.
Bring it back down into the
Strider elevate
strike zone, Cam. Hey, how you doing? Welcome into the channel. I appreciate you stopping by.
Went high, and Harper able to lay off.
As you can see, we got some new interactive stuff for you tonight.
Bryce missed the beginning of the 2023 season, recovering from the injury, but ready for opening day here in 2024. And he fouls it off.
Foul ball. 1-2 count.
Yeah, I think they're right now calling all of those Strider breaking pitches sliders, but I think you're right. Earlier there was an 82-mile-per-hour pitch that was a curveball.
Hopefully you enjoy the interactive that we got out
after the game. Right, he kind of likes to keep everything close to the vest, but you see that big of a difference with velocity. Now what they're doing is they're measuring spin and they're measuring break, and they kind of have a lane in which each pitch kind of falls into, and then it gets named. But that kind of gap, 82 to 88, that's probably a curveball.
All right, so Strider gets ready for the pitch. Here's the windup. Here's the pitch. That is strong.
Fastball there to even the count.
Count is even. 2-2. We got 2 outs. Bottom of the first. The tie game 0-0 between the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies.
Crowd trying to taunt Spencer Strider here in the first inning.
That's going to be ball 3.
He's got another full count, just like he had to Trey Turner.
Foul ball, so we'll do it again.
That was the changeup from Spencer Strider.
Be sure to get your votes in, get your chat votes in.
Felt like not necessarily
if the
his
chat,
pitch, he felt more
if the
comfortable
vote is correct at the end of the game, if the vote's correct for who's going to win the game,
Harper staying
and
alive.
we get that correct for
Doesn't stay alive
the remaining
there.
2
First
games of the
strikeout of the
series.
season for
We
Spencer
will have our
Strider.
first golden.
Then he got a tough customer in Bryce Harper. Blows it.
So that's a 1-2-3 inning for Spencer Strider. So that's the end of the first. We'll be heading to the top of the second. So when they return, we'll see Marcell Ozuna at bat. Michael Harris II will be on deck. And batting in the hole will be Smurf Sean Murphy. The Smurfinator. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the MLB, they have changed up their uniforms a little bit this season. A lot of the changes are like really minuscule changes. Like I've noticed that there's a lot of them where there'll be a color band or something around the bottom of their sleeve that might not have been there the year before, but is there this year.
Topless and Alex, this is becoming
I do believe the Atlanta Braves, one of the changes that they had,
what has the offseason been like for you? Now you turn the page to
instead of
2024. How do you feel about everything?
Down there,
I mean, it was a lot of people have asked me about spring, and it was a boring spring, which in my chair is a good thing.
And then, of course, we got
we know a lot about
8 or 9
the
teams, more teams this year
group,
that are going to
so
be debuting their City Connect uniforms
The
sometimes.
Braves, there's places you could start. Obviously, you're going to start in the NL
I do
East
not
most
have
times, and you
any
get to
kind
start
of
in
date
Philadelphia.
for that.
And every Braves fan knows this has been a tough inning to the last 2 seasons. But I think a chance to come up here, maybe send an early message, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying to you if I told you I enjoyed being here. But look, they're a great club. They're well run.
It's going to be foul ball.
Hall of Fame as a GM. And they have phenomenal players.
To the count.
We've lost obviously 2 years in a row in the playoffs, and regardless of what happens in any series, you guys both know it's such a long season. There's going to be all these twists and turns that are going to happen over the course of time. I'm just anxious to get started, and I don't want to take the playoffs for granted, even though everyone does expect us to certainly get back there.
So I wanted to ask you about that boring spring training that you mentioned. It ended actually with a little bit of
welcome
excitement.
Into the channel. I appreciate you stopping by.
Friends. Tell us
if
about
you're
Adam
just joining us, the Atlanta Braves are tied with the Philadelphia Phillies.
We had checked in with Adam early in the offseason, and
top of the
just
second.
with the year he was coming
Marcell
off of,
Ozuna is at bat.
Playing time and so on. It didn't look like there was going to be a fit there for us.
And
really, we checked back in. Once Ronald had that little scare with his knee, I remember driving back from the park, and I called his agent just to see if anything had changed. And
that's going to be a hit
we
to
started
the
having conversations
second baseman
over
the first.
It was just about trying to find him some type of at-bats. It wasn't going to make sense for him to come here and not have any playing time. So ultimately, in talking to Snit, we'll put him into a platoon. Chavez being available late, obviously has done a phenomenal job for us. And great in the clubhouse as well, strike thrower, a good option for us as a length guy in the pen.
But when you went into the offseason, coming off a historic offensive season in 2023,
swing and miss.
Do you feel like whatever quote-unquote holes there were,
won the count, Michael
Harris?
Harris.
Additions, you get Chris Sale, you get Jared Kelenic. Were you pleased with how the offseason
Harris
went?
with a
.293. We explored a lot of things. And,
last season.
We went into the offseason really focused on it and announced it to the media. You guys always ask, what are your plans? And obviously I'm not going to divulge that, but we were definitely gearing towards trying to acquire some type of starter, and we definitely explored a lot of things there. But as things developed, Jared Kelenic became
Harris
available.
got one.
So we definitely got that done.
We got
and
one handed to him there.
The
He's
other
safe
moves in the
on
bullpen
first.
as well, which were important for us. Even
he
talking
hit
to
a
Snit
dud
and the
down
coaching for
third
the game,
base line.
as they're going through and preparing for today in the
Phillies
series.
picked the
Having
ball
all the
up and
left-handed
kind
options, it just feels much different
the ball was
than
never able
last
to
season
get
at
it
the same time. So
in enough
we're
control
certainly
to throw
glad
it,
we were able
so
to make some tweaks and excited about the guys that we added. Obviously Ronaldo as well.
I want to talk about the guy over at first base who just got that infield base hit in Michael Harris, and what we saw over the last 4 months. Obviously, you believe in him with the contract extension that he got. But what do you think, kind of, as far as the
short fly ball to third baseman who has
season maybe you're expecting out of Michael Harris, and really what kind of player he can be based on what we saw at the end of last year?
Yeah, I mean, you look at how he did the first 2 months, it was a grind to say the least. And to his credit is he doesn't have a pulse in a lot of ways, and it's a good thing. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, which I think has served him really well in his career. But to come out of that and have the last 4 months of the year is off the charts for him. And I think he can do anything he wants in this game. The power's certainly there. He wanted to get a little more selective.
Garcia,
stolen bases. I mean, he's so young. And he didn't have a ton of player development time and a ton of minor league at bats. So I think he can continue to evolve into a star player. And I expect him to make an all-star team at some point in his career, and soon, I think.
He's down at first base here with 2 outs, and now Orlando Arcia, who was the News opening day last year, and signed the extension. He turned into an all-star at shortstop for the Atlanta Braves, and he faces Zack Wheeler here. Alex Anthopoulos joining us in the booth. So, what's the start of the season like for you? I know there's no real true quiet time, but what's the start of the season like? Pretty crazy?
You know what? It's a lot of things like this. You're doing media, doing some stuff on radio and all that. You're getting all the firsts out of the way to get the year going. And obviously, when we open up back in Atlanta, probably have to do some media commitments there as well. But then once you get into the flow, it's just back into the groove. Guys are going to get hurt. We're going to be making moves with the roster and things like that, and just getting back into the flow of the year. And even talking to the staff today, they were going through maybe the bullpen and so on. It's a reminder that 2-3 days from now, the choices will be made for us because some of these guys won't be available, right? Relievers will be down and so on. So it'll just be getting back into the flow of the season and the transactions and just the changes we're going to have to make day in and day out.
How are the emotions for you when you're watching a game, when it's opening day, whether regular season, postseason? I always wonder, you feel like you're kind of a parent, like you did everything you could, and then the kids are out there and it's out of your control. What are the emotions like?
You know what? It's interesting. I find this is the more relaxed, calm opening days I've had. And even going into the year, I think I'm getting older. I'm 46, and this is my 13th year as a GM, I think. So I think I'm just starting to realize the long grind we have.
All right, we're going to take a break. Alex Anthopoulos will be back with us for the
That's
bottom
3 up, 3 down. Or 4 up, 3 down. So we're going to head to the bottom of the second. I'm good. Hey, pick one of those. So.
The third best all-time in Major League Baseball for a strikeout rate, of course, set the Braves strikeout record with 281 of them. Alex Anthopoulos back with CJ and I here in the booth as JT Real Muto digs in. Spencer, he's still so young. What he did last year, what he did this spring, and now he's added the curveball. CJ and I were talking, the sky's the limit for this guy.
It really is, and he's already up in the sky, right? I mean, he's that good. Which is, when we gave him that extension, It was a huge contract for a guy with less than a year of service, or right at a year of service. And
Interactive might
at the
be
time,
giving us
I've been
a
in
little
baseball
issue.
long enough now. 2000 was my first year, so this is 25 years. I've never seen anybody like him before. And I was talking to him at the end of spring training and just about all kinds of things. And I just told him, I said, you will squeeze every ounce out of your ability by the time your career is done. I mean, he is relentless. He's so driven to be great, and not just great for himself on the mound, be a great teammate, be a great clubhouse guy. I mean, he is GM standpoint. Like,
there we go.
Obviously, I wish we were smarter and didn't wait till the 4th round to take him. But and he's off the charts.
Yeah, he certainly is. I'm curious your reaction when you found out that he wanted to add something to the repertoire, right? I mean, certainly the greats are always trying to get better. At the same time, what we just showed you, and those numbers are incredible, and he had a huge season. When that conversation came up about a curveball perhaps being added, where were you guys on that?
You know what? We're important. So last spring, he was toying with down and away fastballs and this and that, and then he's just kind of experimenting a little bit. And I remember talking to him, saying, "Hey, we gave you the contract because you got a great fastball, great heater, top of the zone, and all that, and that's fine. We certainly have all the faith in the world in him."
That's going to be a base hit for the Phillies right up the middle.
Pitch, something like that. Max Fried's done that a ton since I've gotten here. He was fastball, curveball when I got here. The only thing that raised eyebrows was the 2023 spring when he was trying to be, maybe hitting corners and things like that. And then I think you saw it early in the year when Crammy went out and talked to him. Just the whole mentality changed to getting back to attack.
Alec Boehm, the first base runner for Spencer Strider with a single up the middle. Now Bryson Stott digs in with one away and one on. And first pitch skies this. And the wind is blowing heavy left to right. It is a little tricky.
Underneath it, is he caught?
2 away.
Sorry guys, just getting it.
Last year there wasn't as much
level
balance,
again
right,
with
but it feels like now
interactive.
you've got balance between righties and lefties, and you've got a little more velocity.
The sound may be just a scooch behind this time.
I think AJ's led the NL in appearances. At least one of the last 2 years are close to back-to-back years. And look, he's durable. He's been phenomenal. And
hopefully you guys enjoy the interactive
options now, and especially over the course of 6 months, and hopefully for the playoffs as well. We really realized it. I mean, I remember sitting in that clubhouse last year in the postseason talking about our options from the left side, and it's night and day now with the names that we have that are available to us and so on. So having that balance is critically important, and I think it'll certainly help Snit and the staff a lot.
You mentioned something about Jesse Chavez and potentially being in that multi-inning role. Go back to 2000 when you said you started and how important the multi-inning role has become in a bullpen. There was a time where, you were just kind of long guy, you were the last guy on the staff. It seems like it's become more critical in the game now.
No doubt. I think, just with the changes in the rules like you talked about, one, you can only option guys, meaning send them up and down to the minor leagues 5 times a year. You have a lot of guys that are out of options, meaning we just can't freely send them down to the minors. You also want to keep these guys upright and healthy at the same time. And as you know, you have guys that you're getting them up in the bullpen when they're going 2 innings, an inning plus, and so on. They'll get a little bit more rest at times. I just think it's just a better way to build a bullpen, gives the manager more options.
Good stop by Sean Murphy as that one's bounced in the dirt. 2-2. All these things that we discussed, though, it's like they're little tweaks. It has to be such a good feeling to know that you're the head of an organization right now that's humming along pretty good.
Yeah, we are. And look, the expectations have definitely changed. I mean, when I got here in 2018, it was no one even thought about the playoffs, including me. I wasn't out there saying we're making the postseason. So it came together, and then each year we were making the playoffs and made strides and got to the CS in 20 and won it in 21, and then obviously the last 2. I mean, the expectations have totally shifted, which is a great thing. It's a product of success. That getting to the postseason isn't enough. It's winning the whole thing, getting to advance, which means you're doing a lot of great things.
Well, number 99 is doing a lot of great things right now. Another strikeout. Alex Anthopoulos.
Another strikeout for Spencer Strider on the day. That's going to retire the side. So with that said, we're going to be heading to the top of the 3rd. When they come back, we'll see Jared Kelnick at bat, Ronald Acuna Jr. on deck, and Ozzie Albies will be batting in the hole.
Valley Sports is presented by Truist. Welcome back to Philadelphia. Brandon Gaunt and C.J. Nitkowski with you. Scoreless game as we head to the third. And the new Brave in the lineup, Jared Kelenic out in left field. Watches the first pitch from Wheeler go in there. And this is a guy in Jared Kelenic who was a hot prospect as a young kid. He's still pretty young, 24 years of age. Was out in Seattle. And last year had a great start to the season. But then he fell off a little bit in a frustrated moment. Kicked a water cooler during a game against the Twins, broke his foot, and didn't return until mid-September. That kind of threw his season into a tizzy. And now he's hoping for a fresh start with Atlanta. He hits it on the ground here, and it gets by Stott. So Jared Kelenic's first at bat is an Atlanta Brave. He reaches.
Exactly what you want to see from Jared Kelenic. You mentioned those successes and then struggles that he had, I think, coming over to a new team. And we saw him in spring training have some struggles while he was making some adjustments. He wants to get off to a great start. He wants to impress these fans. Now that we're in game one, the idea of him getting a base hit, I think, in his first at-bat probably means
Kelenic,
to him. I just want to get some positive momentum. He
first
had it
Atlanta
at the spring training, so that is good to see from Jared.
He'll have a base hit on record.
He was a number 6 pick by the Mets back in 2018 before ending up with the Seattle Mariners a few years there and now with Atlanta. And now back to the top and Ronald Acuna, who singled and stole a base in the first inning. Oh, and 2. Always good to have Alex Anthopoulos visit. Appreciate his time, his candor. He's just easygoing and always open to answering anything we throw at him. But what he and his crew and everybody has built here in Atlanta, pretty special. Well, it just misses.
When you do everything right, obviously they have ever since Alex has been here. But I do wonder what that was like, and that's why I asked him, because it's out of your hands at that point. And you put together an unbelievable roster and 205 wins over the last 2 years, but it is a test right out of the gate against the Phillies and Zack Wheeler.
Kelenic breaks for second, and he is gunned down by JT Realmuto.
I mentioned just 3 stolen bases against Zack Wheeler last year. And for JT Realmuto, he's got the quickest pop time in the game. That release, that exchange, and how quickly he gets that ball down to second base. And that throw was on the money and Kelenic out by a pretty good margin.
Yeah, that pop time, 1.83. That is incredibly quick. By far the best in Major League Baseball, and he displayed it there.
So Kelenic was picked off trying to steal a second.
37th pitch so far for Zack Wheeler. And it's a good one. A splitter that gets Ronald Acuna.
That one had some cut to it as well, and working away from Ronald, and not a pitch that he has seen from Zack Wheeler yet. We've seen a couple today. We saw one to some of the lefties, but for Zack Wheeler, that is now something these righties will have to put in the back of their mind. And that didn't go straight down like your standard split. That one had some cut to it, working away from Ronald.
As you said, mostly relying on his four-seamer and slider, but that splitter's something for these guys to account for. Ozzie Albies now with 2 outs. Ozzie today making his 7th consecutive opening day start at second base for Atlanta. The franchise record for opening day starts by a second baseman is 8 by Glenn Hubbard. And hopefully Ozzie will be healthy and back to tie that record next year. Inside, backs him off the plate at 94, 3-1.
3-1 count.
Wind whips, I got to be honest. We were freezing last year to start the season in Washington. I'm pretty cold right now. here in Philly.
Yeah, his whipping around the ballpark makes it all the more impressive that Zack Wheeler is pitching without sleeves right now. Doesn't give us a lot of room to complain about being cold.
Yeah, but I will complain, don't you? 3-2, and here comes the noise. Line drive, but Harper
drive to
right
first.
there. A single,
It's
but
out.
caught stealing and nothing doing for Atlanta in the top of the third.
Hey, welcome into the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. If you're just joining us, we're heading to the bottom of the third. Tie game 0-0 between the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll have Brandon Marsh at bat, Johan Rojas on deck, and Kyle Schwarber will be batting in the hole.
Major League Baseball. Have all these guys locked up, including the guy on the mound and Spencer Strider, who deals here to Brandon Marsh.
You can see that call at the top of the zone, maybe even slightly above, as Brandon Marsh didn't like it. That would be good news for Spencer Strider if there was consistency with that call, because, of course, we know with the big fastball that he has, he preferred to throw that near the top of the zone. So, you know, you're getting a couple inches above. That is nothing but good news for Spencer Strider.
Three strikeouts already for Spencer Strider.
Oh,
One in the
ball.
first inning, two in the second. And there's another strikeout. Down
There's another
goes
K on the
Brandon
day.
Marsh. I think that was the curveball. Even though they listed at the slider, it came in at 82 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's over. They're not going to call any of these curveballs. Not after this one. That ball went straight down, nearly a 12-6 break on it at 82 miles an hour. And I mean, that's the thing about the algorithms, is that the information that we have now in the game is great. But when you see something like that, it's so obvious to your eyes that it's a breaking ball, it's a curveball, and they refuse to call it a curveball. How dare they?
Well, we can. And now he faces Johan Rojas at the bottom of the order. You were kind of touching on it, but basically Strider said at the end of last year he wanted to ponder, okay, how can I get better? And he started toying with that curveball. He threw it some in college when he was coming off his Tommy John surgery, but it really hadn't been since then that he had messed with it. But he said it felt good, it looked good, and he used it enough in spring training to say, okay, I'm ready to take this into the regular season.
And essentially his slower off-speed pitch, right? He did have a changeup. He does have a changeup. We've seen a couple today, but this curveball is even slower. than his changeup, and a very effective weapon, as you can see that swing there from Rojas. And that one actually had a little bit more horizontal break to it, right, where it goes right to left. The one that he struck out Marsh with kind of went straight down, so he is certainly already able to manipulate which way he wants that pitch to break.
Grounder to Orlando Arcia.
Over the shortstop, the first out, number 2.
I guess, as you were saying, a good rule of thumb is if you see the pitch break and it's around 88 miles an hour, that's probably the slider. If it's down around 82, that's probably the curveball.
Yeah, the 84, 85 is the one that's got me really kind of confused. Is he taking a little bit off the slider, or is he adding to the curveball? Your guess is going to be as good as mine. Because, again, the algorithm, the computers are not helping us at all.
Well, Phillies still going with Kyle Schwarber at the top of the order like they did last year, despite him hitting below 200 last year. 197 batting average for Schwarber.
Yeah, he is an enigma for sure. Great walk rate for him. You saw the 47 home runs, so he'll walk, he'll hit for power, but he's not going to hit for average. And even that on-base plus slugging,
It's
the
going
OPS
to be low and outside,
even
so
though he had all those home runs.
All one and one
37th
count.
in baseball.
Bottom of the
For a guy
third,
with
2
47
outs.
homers and a great walk rate. So kind of surprising to see the OPS as low as it was.
Yeah, statistically, one of the most interesting hitters in Major League Baseball. He is the king of 3 true outcomes. He led the league in strikeouts, second in walks, and second in home runs in Major League Baseball last year behind Matt Olson. Buries this into the ground. Ozzie charges, and Spencer Strider has a 1-2-3.
That was a short ground ball over to Ozzie Albies, who picks it up and tosses it to Matt Olson for out number 3. So there you go. We're heading to the top of the 4th. Score still 0-0. Atlanta has 3 hits on today, no errors. Phillies 1 hit and no error. Strange commercial.
Here on opening day, which means it's time for our Yellowwood brand bringing the lumber. We've got Austin
All right, so we'll see Austin Riley at bat, Matt Olson on deck, and
just
Ozuna in the hole.
Performance. And when I asked Austin about why he likes hitting here, he really pointed to the batter's eye, guys. He feels like this is one of the best ones to hit in across the league.
Yeah, one of those things that's critically important to hitters, and they will talk about certain places where they just don't see the ball well for whatever reason. I mean, most of these big league batter's eyes are pretty good. This one's interesting, of course, because it's a lot of foliage that you have back there, but obviously for Austin Riley, he just sees it well.
That one came in on his hands. Trey Turner charges, and there's one away.
Out number 1.
Yeah, he has seen the ball well here. But so far today, Riley, a pair of groundouts to the left side, 0 for 2. And now it's the birthday boy. Asked him how he felt about turning 30 today. He goes, "Man, I'm old." I said, "No, you're not, man. 30's not old. You got a long way to go, partner."
0 for 1 on the day for Matt Olson.
That first pitch, just top of the zone. They don't give him the call. 1-0.
You can see the frustration there from Zack Wheeler, and go back to last inning in the pitch that we saw called against Brandon Marsh, and it doesn't quite add up, but we'll take it.
In addition to the homers and ribbies last year, Matt Olson, first Silver Slugger Award, certainly well deserved. What a year it was for the Braves first baseman.
One thing you notice there with that pitch from Zack Wheeler, looks like it has what we call that arm side run. It's actually a four-seam fastball. He gets some of that natural movement on his four-seamer. He doesn't throw his two-seamer nearly as much to left-handed hitters, which is kind of backwards for most right-handed pitchers, right? If they have a two-seamer, they'll use it to run it away from the lefties. But for whatever reason with Wheeler and that kind of natural movement that he gets on his four-seamer, he will throw that style of fastball more. He will use the two-seamer to get in on the righties.
Two-two pitch, and he fouls it off toward the Phillies dugout. It's actually the first time ever, regular season or post, that Strider and Wheeler have squared off. And you would think over the last couple of years how much those guys have pitched, how many times the Braves and Phillies have faced each other, that they would have opposed to starters, but they have not until today. And Wheeler wins that battle with Matt Olson, swinging a miss at a 95-mile-per-hour offering.
So that's going to be 2 outs for the Atlanta Braves. We'll have Marcelo Ozuna stepping up at bat.
I know everybody was concerned. I want everybody to know that I've been brought a heater here in the booth, and I'm now a more comfortable temperature. CJ waved it off because he's a big leaguer and he's tough.
Well, I mean, I'm cold, don't get me wrong, but I know you're really, really cold, and I want to hear about you sweating and feeling hot.
Marcel hits this well, but Brandon Marsh over to make the grab. We are moving right along onto the bottom of the fourth.
Moving to the bottom of the fourth. So it's 3 up, 3 down for the Philadelphia Phillies. When we come back, Trey Turner will be at bat. Bryce Harper will be on deck. And JT Realmuto will be batting in the hole. Oh. No.
Free. Redeem now for the next couple of days through April 1st at tmobile.com/MLB. Brandon Gaudin, CJ Nitkowski, Wiley Ballard with you here on opening day for Atlanta 2024. Trey Turner digs in, second batter in Phillies order, and he takes a strike from Spencer Strider. Trey Turner flew out back into first, 0 for 1. This time to left, and Jared Kelnick there.
So that'll be out number 1. Hit a line drive out to left fielder. Killed
Two
it.
Cy Young candidates, Wheeler
Caught
and
it.
Strider,
Caught
so
it
far.
like an easy
Kind of
can
what we
of corn.
expected, I guess, right, CJ?
Absolutely, and we have seen these guys execute. We have seen the swing and miss. We have seen these hitters try to take the approach of trying to get to them early in the count. And be careful here, first pitch with Bryce Harper, especially after the strikeout. He's been a guy that's always been aggressive.
Yeah,
first
these
pitch,
lights in
probably
my
hunting some kind of
eyes.
fastball. We'll see where Strider decides to
Give me
go.
a pretty bad
He
headache.
does go fastball, and a swing and a miss for Bryce Harper.
And when you know that, when you know the tendency of a guy, especially after the way that last at-bat went and he chased one up, you go right there again. And it was perfect execution from Strider and Murphy.
Comes the pitch.
And last year when Harper was coming off that injury, the Tommy John surgery, didn't start to begin the year as DH, then they moved him at first base. By the end of the year, he really got going. Offensively, it was a slow start to the year, but boy, when August hit, his bat really came to life. That 16 of his 21 homers came after August 5th last year. Then he hit 5 more in the postseason. This miss, 3-1.
Yeah, 3 straight breaking balls after we saw the elevated fastball, and you can see it just missing just in off the plate, and he has not been able to get Bryce Harper to offer at that pitch.
And misses inside with a fastball. Just the second base runner for Philadelphia today. JT Realmuto, 6th year as the Phillies starting catcher. Talked about this developing into one of the good rivalries in Major League Baseball, and certainly it has heated up here over the last couple of seasons. And you could feel the energy when you walked into Citizens Bank Park today. The boos were raining down as soon as the Braves took the field.
We saw something like this similar, if you remember that outing for Spencer Strider in spring training where he was cruising along, and I think we saw him throw, 7, 8 balls in a row, and then he threw strikes the rest of the inning to be able to finish it off. It's certainly uncharacteristic to now see 6 straight out of the strike zone for Spencer Strider.
But he gets in the zone there as JT Realmuto couldn't stop the bat. 2-1. And now he evens the count. And a slider there at the knees.
And there's a lot to admire about Spencer Strider, but those 2 pitches in particular, right? We just saw 6 straight balls, and he doesn't give in. He's not just, hey, here's a fastball, I need a strike. There's a slider on the corner, comes back with another slider at the bottom of the zone.
Reaches for it and fouls it off, does Realmuto. One thing the Phillies said, even though they beat the Braves the last 2 years in the postseason, they want to get off to a better start this year. Last year they struggled out of the gates. They were 7 games under 500 on June 4th and then got hot the rest of the way. Ended up winning 90 and getting in, of course, to the postseason as a wild card contender. The Braves were hot from day one last year, winning on opening day in Washington and
To the
104
count.
regular
Run out.
season wins,
Runner on
second most in
first.
franchise history. 2-2 pitch. And another foul ball.
And you saw Spencer previously throwing over there against Bryce Harper. Sneaky, right? He picks his spots. 11 stolen bases for him last year. Caught just 3 times. And so if he sees an opportunity in the right spot, I don't think necessarily they're thinking about putting him in motion to try to stay out of a double play. Spencer Strider is not a ground ball pitcher. He doesn't get very many ground ball double plays behind him. I believe it was just 6 last year. And the Phillies kind of middle of the road as far as how often they hit into double plays.
Struck him out.
God, he was
Nasty
swinging.
at the bottom of the zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last bit.
Miles an hour.
I'll be
If
calling
that's
the
not a
end of my
curveball, he
stream
doesn't
after.
throw a curveball, according to StatCast. This is absolutely a curveball.
Say thank you to
79
everybody that
miles an
stopped
hour
by.
below
I
the zone.
appreciate
Again, you can see that break with
you,
that ball going
support
straight
the
down, which
channel.
seems to be the play at times. We
I
talked
will
about
be
how
back
he's moved it a
tomorrow
couple of different
with
ways.
the regular scheduled game
That's a
and the
curveball from
scheduled
Spencer
time.
Strider.
5 strikeouts
And
now
hey,
for
this is
number
KGB
99.
for C Sports Network. Home of your streaming outlaws.
Speeds up out
Saying
at Bone,
thank
who
you,
fouls
and
it
I'll
off.
see you on the next one, guys. We're gonna play out the rest of the 4th inning, but yeah, I just got a text
Those
and I gotta go.
281 strikeouts last year for Strider, 44 more than anyone else in Major League Baseball.
Nothing life-threatening, so please don't worry about anything like that. It's just
And he's a strike away
something
from
that
another one.
The
wasn't
unfortunate
aware
part
of.
for us, and we're joking a
aware
little bit
of
about the
today that
classification of the pitches,
it's
but
pretty
really to get a
important and
feel
needs to be
for
handled.
how often he's using the curveball to finish off hitters and get his strikeouts. Last year, you mentioned all those punch-outs that he had. He did a great job with 124 on the fastball, 139 on the slider.
On to the count.
The changeup as well.
6 strikeouts for Spencer
6
Strider. Picking up
strikeouts
where he left off in
for Strider.
2023.
Okay,
Got Real Muto
thank
for
you everybody
round
for
2.
watching. This is
And now
KGB,
the
and I'll
ball.
see you on the
Have a
next one.
seat.